From the moment we're born, we begin a journey that inevitably leads to the same destination: death. It's a universal truth that binds us across cultures and time. Yet what lies beyond that final breath? Religions around the world have sought to answer this profound question. They paint diverse pictures of the afterlife, shaping our understanding of life, death, and everything in between. In this video we'll explore the perspectives of four major faiths: Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. For over 2,000 years, the Christian faith has offered a message of hope and salvation. Central to this message is the belief in an eternal soul and an afterlife beyond our earthly existence. In Christianity, death is a transition, a passage from this world into the next. Upon death, the soul faces judgment before God. Those who have accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior are promised a place in heaven. Imagine a realm of eternal peace and joy, a place where suffering ceases to exist. This is the heaven promised to the faithful, a place of communion with God and reunion with loved ones. However, the Christian afterlife also encompasses hell, a realm of eternal punishment for those who reject God's grace. For some Christians, there's also the concept of purgatory, a temporary state of purification for those destined for heaven. These beliefs provide a framework for understanding death and the afterlife, offering both hope and a reminder of the importance of living a life guided by faith. In the sacred verses of the Quran, the Islamic faith lays out its understanding of death and the transition to the afterlife. For Muslims, death is a passage into a different dimension, where the soul awaits the day of judgment. This day, known as Yawm al-Qiyamah, marks the end of time, a cosmic reckoning where all souls are held accountable for their actions. Imagine a grand event, where every human being stands before Allah to have their deeds weighed on the scales of divine justice. The Quran emphasizes living a righteous life, guided by the 5 pillars of Islam. Those who have lived in accordance with Allah's will find their good deeds outweighing their transgressions. For them, the reward is paradise, or Jannah, a realm of unimaginable beauty and bliss. However, those consumed by greed and worldly desires face the consequences in Jahannam, the Islamic concept of hell. Jahannam is described as a place of intense heat and suffering, a stark contrast to the tranquility of paradise. The Islamic perspective on the afterlife emphasizes personal accountability and the profound justice and mercy of Allah. Hinduism, one of the world's oldest religions, offers a unique perspective on death and the afterlife, deeply intertwined with reincarnation. Central to this belief is samsara, the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Imagine life as a wheel, ever turning, with each revolution representing a new incarnation. The soul, known as the Atman, is eternal and unchanging, taking on different bodies throughout its journey. The circumstances of each life are determined by karma, the sum total of one's actions in previous lives. Good deeds create positive karma, leading to favorable rebirths, while negative actions result in negative karma. The ultimate goal in Hinduism is to break free from samsara and achieve moksha, liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Moksha represents the soul's union with Brahman, the ultimate reality. This state of liberation requires countless lifetimes of spiritual practice and detachment from worldly desires. Hinduism offers various paths to achieve moksha, encouraging individuals to strive for spiritual growth and act with compassion and righteousness. In the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, we find a profound exploration of suffering, impermanence, and the path to liberation. Like Hinduism, Buddhism acknowledges the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth known as samsara. However, Buddhism focuses on the impermanent nature of all things, including the self. Imagine life as a flickering flame, constantly changing, never remaining the same. This impermanence is often a source of suffering, as we cling to things that are constantly changing. Buddhism teaches that the root cause of suffering lies in our desires and ignorance of our true nature. The path to liberation, known as nirvana, involves extinguishing these desires and cultivating wisdom and compassion. Nirvana is described as a state of enlightenment, a blowing out of the flames of desire and suffering. To reach nirvana, Buddhists follow the Eightfold Path, a set of guidelines for ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. By practicing these principles, individuals can purify their minds, weaken the grip of desire, and cultivate the qualities that lead to enlightenment. From the promise of heaven to the liberation of nirvana, we've journeyed through diverse beliefs about what lies beyond this life. While these religions offer different interpretations of the afterlife, they share a common thread. Each provides a framework for understanding our mortality and finding meaning. They offer comfort, purpose, and guidance, shaping how we view death and live our lives. These beliefs reflect our deepest longings, fears, and enduring hope for something more. The search for meaning in the face of our mortality is a journey we all share,